How to do a full kitchen renovation.
Okay, welcome back. We are heading into the next job that was done, and here we are looking at before photos. So once again, we're going to show you some of the noise, what happens in the factory when the wood gets cut, and the rest we're just going to talk you through it. So this is the call out that was done, and we come with samples where the client get to choose what countertops they want, as well as the color for the cupboards, the doors. So you can see we're at the supplier now, and we have enough stock. So you can see there's countertops as well as your normal boards. So we have any color you want, and any top as well. So the tops all have a nice gloss finish. So this is the cutting list that the cutters will follow now to cut the wood and get it edged. And what you saw previously in the video was an edging machine, or rather called the edge bander, and it basically edges all the wood. So you're seeing the wood being cut, and this is a nice vertical machine, less strain on the body and so ergonomics. So this is what they call pocket holes, and those will be used for the hinges on the doors in order to open and close. So you can see there, all the doors are done, all the wood is edged, so obviously ready for the puzzle. So first things first is to organize everything, the tools as well, and you can see there we have any tool for any job. So what's important is to always clear the space. And you can see the DB board over there, in other words distribution board, and that will be covered as well with a cupboard. Here you're looking at the before photos of this project that we are going to tackle. So the client wanted an open plan, and that is why you will see right now, after we are organizing the wood, that we will begin opening the kitchen up. Or rather, just the open plan. So one thing when it comes to this work, you always need to assess the job. Every move is important. The way how you assemble the cupboards is important. You need to know which side is the good side. You know, the side that you're going to see with your eyes when you look from any angle to the kitchen. So it's a lot of things you need to think about. So clearly, once again, all the tools for any job. So organizing is the first thing. So that was Cosmos over there, busy knocking the wall open, and here you can see the special cuts, and that will obviously be used for the corner cupboard. And here you're looking at the cupboard being assembled, and plastic legs is what the client wanted. This elevates it a bit, so it gives it that ground protection with the aluminium kick plate. So yes, there will be aluminium kick plate that will be used now from the ground to the cupboard, and this will just protect it and seal it nicely, but also protect it from water and so on when mopping, and just in case a spill or disaster happens. So we had to go with 2 corner cupboards over here. So you can see quite a lot of special cuts. And here we're putting Cosmos in training, and he is now learning the tricks of the trade of how to be a carpenter. So what's important first is to always get the carcass done. Always get all the wood out of the way, the puzzle. So sometimes to speed up time, we can do this at our own premises. If the client is not available during the day, we always work around the client's time. So you can see the carcass is coming to shape, and the client wanted a 360. Here you're looking at the countertop from another top. You see, and this is why we say the ergonomics is just so nice, because you can just slide the board. There's less weight, you know, of lifting the board up compared to sliding it on that machine, this vertical machine. It's the first of its kind that I've seen. But here you're looking at the mission that was, this was something else. So to hide this, we obviously had to do it properly, is number one. And we had to remove the covers and so on, cut the hardboard like you've seen over there. And later on you will see how we actually fit it. Here you can see we are using obviously quality heavy duty ball bearing runners for the pot drawer, and obviously your normal drawers for your knives and forks and so on is using your normal white runners. So this is where the pot drawers will be. And you will see later on how nice this corner doors of the cupboards open. And it just also helps with ergonomics. And here we are busy fitting the hinges for the doors. And this is again the special cuts that was made now in order to cater for the DB board. And this is where your skill has to come in. You need to know what to do here, otherwise you can make a whole balls up. or is it a bollocks? So here you're looking at the special cuts also that had to be made now for the shelves. You see, we don't change the spacing of the shelves, we keep it the same so that you can obviously have equal spaces. So we'd rather cut the shelf. Other people will just move the shelf up or down, but this makes the space not equal, as you can see over there. So now you can pack stuff. It's quite big. So we always try and utilize the space as best from ground to ceiling. And you can see the gap that we have over there. We just go below the cornice. And here we are doing the beautiful aluminium to finish it off nicely from the ground. And this will seal it and protect it from any water, mopping or spills or so on. And obviously this cupboard over here won't have a normal white hardboard backing, but rather wood. So we just want to finish the front first so we can have access from the back before we put that on. But stay tuned because you will soon see the end result. And this was the plumbing that we told the client that they need to get, because sometimes we come through like that. You know, if you choose us to do your kitchen cupboards, and then we will do the plumbing for free, and we will just tell you what to get more or less, and then we will basically install the zinc and waterproof it and so on. This is only if you choose us to do your beautiful kitchen renovation. So you will also see later on that we actually had to move the main waste pipe lower. So this is now again not included now into the free plumbing thing, because when we say free, we mean only that you buy the zinc and so on, and we just have to fit the zinc for you into the countertop and just connect up the tap. Like you can see here, we had to move it a little lower, but this wasn't really a problem because they went with a mixer and so on, and it's always easier fitting it in the cupboard. But the minute we have to drill through walls and things like that, then it obviously becomes now a plumbing job, and yeah, we can negotiate and so on, but obviously we want the client to understand that all of these things requires quite a lot of work when it comes to plumbing, electrical, tiling, cupboards and so on. And here you are looking at now the plumbing that was moved lower. I do apologize if my chair is squeaking a bit, as you can hear over there. I don't want you to really think other things. I need to get some WD-40, but story for another day. As you can see over there, that is now definitely the hot and cold water. Perfect circles here at the Y-Mini. And here's a beautiful zinc the client wants. See, so when we say plumbing for free, then the client always wants to go overboard and buy these complicated things and take advantage of the Y-Min. But we don't allow advantage here at the Y-Min. We just come through for the client and assist as best as we can, giving them best value for their money. So we obviously fitted this complicated zinc for them. As you can see, we marked out perfectly hot and cold water. Now here is where the skill has to come in. You know, if you make one mistake over here, you're costing yourself thousands. And this is where we just thought Confucius say, you know, but at the Y-Min, we will definitely find the solution. So you will see that we have another video that will be coming up that is similar to this zinc, but you can even wash your glasses on the one side, so stay tuned. This is again the gas stove and hob that was also fitted, and this was also the next step. So you can see the countertop had to be cut again, once again, for the hob to fit through. And if you make a mistake once again, you know, you can definitely resign. So here you're looking at the hob that is fitting in there perfectly in the center, and we always make sure that the things are protected of the client. You know, we cover the fridge when we were knocking with the hammer and so on. We cover everything when we are busy with the client's things because we know it's their most prized possessions. You got to hear the water itself, no leaks, and we always clean up after ourselves. That is very important at the Wyman. And there we are just making sure, once again, no leaks, because that is one thing that we hate here at the Wyman. If then water drips on our beautiful cupboards, or any water for that matter. So we will make sure that there's no leaks, it's waterproof, and so on. Here you're looking at the special cuts once again, and obviously I'm using these videos, if you haven't noticed by now, to just talk about life, talk about stories, talk about things, but also I don't want to jump into conclusions, you know, so I have to mention these things. So that was a beautiful cut that was made for the zinc, and once again we did this so that we don't have to remove or lower the shelf, because then you have little space and can't maybe pack your washing detergents. Your Omo vanish. I don't know what is better. And once again, we always check that the cupboards are level. That is one thing we definitely make sure. Everything is level and everything is looking neat. And everything nice and spacious. So only quality hinges. You get different kinds. You get offset 90 degree, 180 degree. So here you're looking at the oven, stove, and this was the beautiful hole that was cut for the microwave again. I don't know why I'm saying beautiful, but yeah. I think I'm talking too much. I just need to be quiet. And maybe let you watch the video and just, I guess, listen to whatever music I'm going to be choosing for the video, because I haven't chose yet. I'm just doing the voiceover now while I'm watching this video as you're watching it. Here you're looking at the drill that was drilled through the door, where the handle will be. So once again, you need to be brave, because make one mistake here, you're costing thousands, especially if it's on color wood. Luckily this is white wood, so you can maybe still get away with it, but not really. Color wood is obviously expensive, so you don't want to make any mistakes on color wood. So yes, back to let me keep quiet and maybe just watch the video. See if you can figure out for yourself what's happening. Clearly this is plumbing now, and waterproofing is being done. So we're busy with the final touches, and the client also asked this cupboard of theirs to lift it up a bit and do the edging over and so on. Now this is where we go a little bit out of our way for the client. You know, maybe we might ask something small or so on, but it's very much insignificant. And yeah, these are the things we do for the client, you know. Not only make sure things are level, but we also, you know, we do the electrical, we do the plumbing, we do the tiling here and there. So it's maybe nice to have one company doing all these things for you, a trusted company. So you can see the beautiful hole that was drilled now here for the gas again, because the client went with a gas hob, and you can see how perfectly the gas can fits in there. And this is where the pipe will run through, and that is where we will power the, obviously, the stove like you saw. I don't know why the footage is so unorganized. Here again you're seeing the last touches of the aluminium bottom, all the gaps closed right around. And there you can see the backing also of the side of the cupboard there, and this is the beautiful corner cupboard door. So this hinges, I think it's again an overlay. Yeah, definitely taking risk with these drillings, eh? This drill has definitely done quite a few jobs for me already. And here you're looking at the gas accessories. And we have reached the electrical part. So now we are going to be talking about how we install this hob, basically. So obviously everything is quite trivial because you just follow instructions with a little bit of general knowledge, but also a little bit of experience. So we will show you later on how we fitted the stove and the hob, as well as the extractor, and it's all working. They're looking at the skill that is also required to just do that last bit of trimmings, because sometimes, you know, the companies run out of edging, or this job was done close to Christmas time, so basically these companies were all closed, and you know, we need to make a plan to get the job done and do the edging ourselves. So there you can see the cupboard is raised and edged. And that's the final stages to unwrap, you know, the goodness of your countertop, the shine, and you can see there the beautiful after photos. Maybe this is the time I should be quiet. So the client wanted full 360 cupboards right around, utilizing the space as best as we can, and the client was extremely happy. And you can see now how the gas was installed. That is where the pipe needs to connect to. And you can see it coming perfectly through the hole over there. Everything looking nice and neat, so the client can still pack stuff in the cupboards. So later on in the video, you will see how we basically tested the gas, made sure it's working. So this is what we told you previously also in the video earlier on, that we had to do the plumbing, the waste pipe over. So we just asked a little bit something extra from the client here, because we had to move the waste pipe lower, as you can see over there. Because these zincs that you get on Take-A-Lot, Macro and so on, that you see over here, those fancy zincs, they're a little bit deeper, you know, than the usual zincs. So obviously the waste pipe needs to sit lower than the zinc in order for the flow. So this is also to show you again here at the wireman that we don't take shortcuts. We obviously make sure the job is done correctly. So we told the client, now this is not something we quoted you for. However, we can ask something smaller, we can do the plumbing for you and move it lower down so you would have a better flow. But like we said at the beginning, we didn't charge for plumbing. So that was the waterproofing that was done over there on the zinc. And like I said, we didn't charge for plumbing because we do that for free when you choose us to do your cupboards. And yeah, so now you know the story. And here you can see, we thank you at the wireman. We are finally done with the job. The client has packed our beautiful cupboards. We utilize the space that's best. There's no leaks. And the client is extremely happy with the outcome. So let us know who's next. We have special prices and we are trusted. You know, some clients give us the keys, some clients leave us alone at their place, and this is just to show how trusted we are. So there's the pot straws for the heavy duty ball bearing runners. The gas is lovely connected, everything looking neat. And we thank you at the wireman. So this job cost over all in all about 20,000, and that was basically only for the cupboards, and that was to do all the basically all the work obviously, but get the material, the cutting, the countertops, hinges, handles, and so on. So we did mention that the plumbing now was obviously free. However, we did ask extra because of the work that we had to do there. Because when we mean free, we only mean fitting a normal zinc that the client provides and everything for the plumbing to your existing pipelines. I connected your gas, eh? So that is it.
Later,
Now that obviously for the gas installations and the stove and so on, that's obviously a little bit extra here and there.
Dicker, we are in. Great. Wicked. LS, the same. It's got some
So the gas installation was obviously a separate price, but you know, we negotiate with the client and we try and do what we can. So this is basically the things that came with the hob. It's basically like a type of a press stick, and it's used just to seal the hob to the countertop, so you don't have any food or so on fatty stuff falling between the countertop. And here you're looking at the space that the client has now to pack all the things which she never had before. And there you can see everything being packed, ready to use and ready to prepare that lovely Christmas lunch. Because we did say we are busy uploading videos towards the end of last year, and then we will take it from there. So next up we will have a nice instant shower that was installed at someone's place, and then we will have a nice cupboards that was done in Durbanville, where we had a nice 900 gas stove that was a center focal point, and we will show you symmetry cupboards. So stay tuned, because we now have an instant shower coming up, how to fit one, and yes, you will definitely enjoy that video because you only need cold water and no hot water. We thank you for your time.